morning. It is a bit of an ungodly hour on Friday. You're going to hear my cats begging for treats and trying to get bugs on the other side of our sliding glass door. It's about 4:15. This is my first cup of coffee. But we live in Richville, and our fire hall, when the alarm goes off for anything, you hear it, and it went off at 3. And you probably hear my coffee pot too. Yeah, I tried to get back to sleep, and it went off again. So all bets are off, and here I am. Yeah, so it's Friday. We made it through another week. We're almost to August. August is tomorrow. And I was thinking, part of why I couldn't get back to sleep, thinking about the written word and how much time I spend reading. Whether it's books or other people's writings, their blogs, their words, their statuses, their description of pictures. I spend a lot of time reading, and I write sometimes when I sit down and actually do it. But I write a lot of things, even if it's not a whole, a blog or something. I write a lot. People who know me, people who have heard my voice, can read those words in my voice, right? Words have a voice. I've read books, and I've said, the book was good or the point was good, but I didn't like the voice. I didn't like the way it was written, because authors have a voice, and I've never heard their voice. But it was just the way that I read it in my mind, their words, the way I read it was, more difficult for me. So I was thinking about social media. I was thinking about newspapers. I was thinking about news articles, right? The written word has been around for a long time, and I hope it's not going anywhere anytime soon. We've been doing this for a long time. We've been reading. We've been hearing things. When you read, you hear it in a voice. And when you write, I know that you have a voice that you're probably thinking in a way that you're hoping it's read, but it's not always read that way, which can be really difficult, especially when you're writing. Often when you're writing, on all the social media things, when you're writing blogs a lot. So we're sort of admonished, just as people and definitely as believers, to be extremely careful about how we say things, period. How we say things, for me especially, is more important than the words. You can say things very different ways, and it'll mean very different things, right? So we're really encouraged, especially as believers, to make sure that the way that we say things, whether it's in person or in writing, is right, is loving, is kind, is gentle. That we're slow to speak, slow to get angry. And that's great, that's good. No one's going to do that perfectly. And when you do it in person, I've felt that it's been easier to, I'm sorry, got a little heated there, or I didn't mean to say it that way, or sorry for being sarcastic or something, and you can be like, yep, that was not how I meant it. When it's a written word, it's a little harder because it doesn't go away. In that you can go back and reread it, more people can see it. A spoken word doesn't just go away either. It doesn't. People remember it. I remember it. And maybe that's just my personality and my mind because of my relationship with words. But when people tell you stories about their lives, when they tell you testimonies, when they tell you about memories, they remember what people said. They remember how they said it. They remember, and then they said, and I was like, they remember all of those things. So they might accept your apology, and they might hear you out when you say that's not how you meant to say it, but it doesn't just go away. And I'm wondering, I'm thinking at 4:00 in the morning, is there a little bit of an untruth that has been put on people, believers, or just my generation? I don't know. I just feel like I've heard it my whole life, so maybe it's just my generation, that it's worse. The written word, that it's worse if you write things like that, if you comment on things, if you post something with wrong wording, or that could be read rudely or sarcastically, that's worse because now it's infinite, it's out there, and to the degree that it's infinite for more people, and it can always go back and always be looked at exactly as it was, I can understand that. I think though that has sort of given us this idea that the spoken word doesn't have that, and it does. It really does. And so we're really careful now when we're typing, and everyone on Facebook has become a lawyer. They want to word it just so and just right, not to be misinterpreted in any way. And we use emojis now. We're like, oh, okay, well, whatever, whatever, and then we put a smiley face so that people can read it with this smiling face picture, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm just not sure about that, and then that somehow makes it, we read it with a smiling demeanor. And when you say something in person, when you say something to a group of people, it could be even worse. They could remember it a certain way, and they could talk to someone else about it. I mean, we all know the game of telephone. I can't believe they said, or did you hear that they said, or why would they say? And they may not say it with your inflection, or with your heart, with your facial expression. They may not even say the same words you did, exactly the way that you did. And I'm not coming to a conclusion here. I don't have and so that means I'm more just thinking about it and noticing it. There are some things that I've written or I've posted where I thought, there's no way this is going to be a problem. Song lyrics. have caused more controversy. They're not even my words. And you know exactly how they're said because it's a song. You just sing it. I don't have an inflection. I don't have a way that I was saying it. It's not even my words. It's a song. That has caused more issues on my Facebook than all of my anti-porn posts have ever caused. Those just people scroll right by. Nobody comments, nobody likes, nobody says anything, nobody shares those, right? I have anti-human trafficking things, fight the new drugs, stop the demand, why porn's bad. I post that stuff all the time. I've shared my testimony about, struggles with pornography, and so has my husband. Nothing at all. And I'll post a part of a song, and I will have an entire conversation with way more heated discussion than something possibly controversial. I don't know. And they're not even my words. So I guess, I don't know, I'm just thinking about words, written words, spoken words, the power in words, right? We're not going to stop reading. And I can completely understand the difficulty with a written word. I love books. I love reading. And people who know me well know that I'll get halfway through almost every book I read. If I finish a book, it is like a work of God. Because I always get halfway through the book. And somewhere in the middle of the book, the author has worded things or is wording things in a way where what they're saying is this absolution, this absolute truth. I really struggle with that. I don't know if it's my personality, my age. I recently learned about anagrams. That was really fun. I'm an Enneagram 6 wing 5 from what I understand, which makes me very skeptical and investigative, and I don't like absolutes. So like the ones up there, they like a black and white. I mean, I live in the gray. My whole life is the gray. Everything's in the gray, right? The only thing that's really not in the gray is Jesus. That's, I feel like, the only thing I have the absolution on. Everything's in the gray. Everything. Question everything. Trust nothing. That's who I am. So I get halfway through these books and they're making claims, or so I'm reading, so I'm hearing the voice. And I can't finish it. I can't read the rest of it. Hearing this, I have the answer attitude. I can't do it. So I completely empathize with the struggle of the written word, of being on the other side of the written word. It is a struggle writing. I don't write books. I write a blog that I'm not really, I'm not like a popular blog writer. I just write a blog for myself, thoughts, get it out. It's like a journal, and it's way easier to type than write. Plus, yeah, a lot of typing, a lot of my life. So it hurts sometimes to write like that. Social media isn't going anywhere, as far as I can tell. It is actually growing. Its influence is growing. And I want to teach my kids, when they finally have social media, be careful. what you say, how you say it. Use punctuation. Try to write a proper sentence. But I'm wondering if I also need to teach them not just the burden of how they write things, but how they read things. And maybe that's what I've just kind of been thinking about this morning when I encourage people in, is there's absolutely a burden on the person writing the whatever, the comment, the thing, the status, the opinion, right? But maybe there's a burden on the person reading it. So in James it says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. And I feel that we have really encouraged and worked on slow to speak and slow to get angry. We really encourage people, when you read something, be careful how you comment. Be careful the wording that you use. Don't get excited. Don't get emotional. That's a huge thing. If somebody feels like you're emotional, you're so emotional. Well, we have emotions, but that's for another day. So slow to speak, slow to get angry. Take your time. Think about it. Think about what you're going to say. Think about how you're going to say it. But what if we really started encouraging the quick to listen, right? So not only putting the burden on how you're typing back, how you're writing a status, but how you're reading them. And I wonder if that would do anything. I wonder if that would help anything, because I wonder if more people were quick to listen and read these things in different voices, in different tones, giving people more the benefit of the doubt of what they're trying to say and their heart behind it, if it would be much easier to be slow to speak and slow to get angry. So right now it seems as though I guess it's all a little bit of self-control, but right now it's like, read it and think whatever you want and get triggered and whatever it is, but be slow to speak. You know what I mean? Like, hold your tongue and don't get angry. All good things. People are still gonna get upset. I get triggered. I'm not afraid of that word. I'm not afraid of being a millennial. It's an age group. It's what I am. It's no big deal. But what if we were quick to listen? What if we tried to hear it in different tones? And we don't just struggle with this in the written word, by the way. There was no Facebook when that verse was written. People spoke to each other, and it is so easy. I do it. I have my lawyer mind. I've seen it. When you get two minds like mine in the room, it's a little bit of chaos. But even when someone's speaking, you're listening, preparing your next response. They say a sentence and you're like, oh, I have a rebuttal for that. You might not speak yet. You might be slow to speak. You might be slow to get angry, but you're not quick to listen because you're already not listening. So this isn't just a struggle that social media created. I think it's a struggle that social media exacerbated. I think it's just magnified because of social media, which again, is like, you say social media is not like a bad word anymore, but it's really not. And it has been wonderful and kept people connected and been helpful, and just it can be really great, right? It's how you use it. But this isn't a new thing. This is not a new thing. So, and it happens when people are actually speaking to each other verbally, on the phone, face to face. This is not just a written word thing, and this is not just a Facebook thing. It's not just a social media issue. So let's try to not just hold our tongue. Let's try to actually listen, to completely not even have a response. Just listen. Just hear what they're saying in person, verbally, or written. And I think that would really slow people down, because it wouldn't just be a matter of biting your tongue and willing yourself to shut everything off and not respond, but it's really working your self-control and biting holes in your tongue, but actually listening, really being quick to listen, I think would just by default make us slow to speak and slow to get angry. And I think there's a reason that one's first. Be quick to listen, right? It doesn't just say bite your tongue and don't say things when you have thoughts. It says be quick to listen. So just some thoughts at 4:30 in the morning, because I can't get back to sleep after the fire alarm went off. And my cat wants in. And they're over here fighting. And I need more coffee. So I'm going to go read some written word. And I might scroll a little bit. And I'm just going to try to listen to people and their hearts and their minds. So as you're scrolling today and this weekend, to be quick to listen.